Hello, everyone. OMG, you guys, I am so excited because the person who I am going to be introducing you today, she is a riot, a ball of personality, and I just can't wait for you guys to meet her. If it's your first time seeing one of our interviews in the summer interview series, my name is Nyala Thorpe. I'm a marketing and income strategist. I'm also the CEO of Market Your Message, where we help coaches find and market their unique message so they can consistently sign high-paying clients. Now that I got all of that out the way, listen, I decided to do this series because I know that a lot of things are changing online. A lot of new entrepreneurs has started in the last couple of years, and I just wanted to bring people who I believe is an expert, right? And so right now, short form video content is taking over. Can you guys agree? If you can, just comment and let me know if you can agree with that. And so I needed to find someone who was an expert at short form video marketing. And that is Sarah Weiss. Okay, she is an expert at short form video content. She gets brands and businesses online visible, increasing your visibility so you can land dreamy clients and remain top of mind to your audience, which is so important. So y'all, if I had a drum, I would be drum rolling. Welcome, Sarah. I'm so happy. Thank you so much for saying yes to sharing your expertise with us today.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me.
Yes. Okay. So I know that I gave them your whole bio. But we like stories here. Okay. So we're gonna get into your story, but I have a trick question that I didn't give you preparation for. You ready?
All right. Yes, give it to me.
I want you to describe Sarah in one word and tell me why you choose that word.
Oh, in one word. I feel like this is cliche, but I feel like authentic. And I say that because it was not always like that. My dog is saying hi in the background. It was not always like that. I used to think I needed to be very curated and put together all the time. And you know what? That's not the way it works. And that's not the way you need to be.
Yeah.
So authentic.
Yeah, authentic. And I have to agree. When I met you and I started researching, that is the first word that came to mind for me too. So
thank you.
Yes, perfect word. Okay. So how did you really get started into teaching video marketing?
Yeah, so my story is a little different. So I'm actually a certified speech language pathologist or speech therapist. And long story short, I was just very burnt out in the field. And so on my commutes to work, I would listen to business podcasts, and I found people talking about social media management and marketing, and that they just started it by themselves. And the whole world of freelancing. And I'm like, yep, I'm going to do it. It's not if I'm going to do it, it's when I'm going to do it and how fast I'm going to do it. And I did it.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. And I did it in less than a year because for me, my mental health is more important than anything. And so I was like, I don't care that I went to school for all these years and got my master's and, that's not the right move for me right now. I want to do something that lights me up, that lets me be creative. And so I took what I loved from social media and social media management, which was video and telling stories and editing in ways that either make the video, more moving or more funny. And I kind of made that my bread and butter.
So would you say that it's something that you have a knack for?
Yes, I am completely self-taught. I did not take any editing classes, any marketing classes. I just did the thing.
Yeah, and thanks for sharing that, because for anyone who's listening who may be feeling like there's something that you want to do, but you feel that you have to be an expert, you feel that you have to be curated or perfect, or I hope that this just helped you, right? Because I think that is something that all people can do, but what gets in the way is they feel that they have to show up a certain way, or they have to have things prepared first. And I always tell people, you have to jump in. They don't have like the just do it slogans and for no reason. It's because you really do just have to do it, and when the years go by, you turn around, like now you said you started in 2020, now it's 2022, and you're over here like this expert teaching all of these people, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And I'm so glad that you said that, because I was just having a conversation with somebody yesterday about how working in like speech and education, I was so primed for the fact that I needed to have like this perfect plan, and this like if you don't have like plan A, B, and C, then you're out of luck and you better have it together. And so now I feel like I'm kind of the opposite, where I'm kind of just like, let's do it. And it has been so liberating, and it has really like moved me and my business forward. And so if you're the kind of person that has the mindset of like, no, but I've always been very type A and very prepared, try and do something like without a plan and like see how much it moves you forward.
Yes, that's good. Okay. So let's shift a little. We're going to talk about the platform, the extraordinaire, what everybody wants to know, right? Which is TikTok. So why do you think TikTok is the platform that entrepreneurs should really be paying attention to right now?
Oh, that is such a good question. Okay. I got a lot of answers for this. So let's just jump into like a hardcore statistic, because I know some people like numbers here.
Yeah.
So TikTok exceeded Google as the most popular web domain in 2021. All right, let's say that again. TikTok exceeded Google as the most popular web domain in 2021. So not only are people using it as a social media platform, but they're using it as a search engine. Okay, so people are interacting on the platform, but if they don't know about something, they're also going there to search for it. Right. So it's so valuable to be on there. It's also the place where everything originates. That's why I find it funny when people are like, I don't watch TikToks, but they sit there and watch an Instagram reel. I'm like, honey, you are watching a 2-week-old TikTok. Like everything originates on TikTok. And so it just is in your best interest to start there, because that's where everything originates. And so those are always like my two like biggest answers about why you should be on there and why you should start there. And then if you want to be other places, you can repurpose what makes sense from there.
Ooh, now that's the first time I've heard it from that way. Now I know I've always heard people say, well, TikTok, the originality, and even me, like I just started using it. And even me myself, I was telling my team the other day how, these trending things that we do on TikTok is starting to trend on Instagram 2 to 3 weeks later. So we really don't have to create as much for Instagram because we're already doing it, on TikTok, But here, I want to go a little deeper than just that, right? Because I know that a lot of entrepreneurs have it in their mind that TikTok is hard, that TikTok is for young people, that TikTok, I got to dance and I'm not a dancer. So like, what do you say to those entrepreneurs? How could we master TikTok without all of that?
Yeah. So also great points. There are like so many limiting beliefs that people have about TikTok, and rightfully so, right? Because that's kind of how the platform started, like back in 2020. So I don't blame you, but it's different now. So let's squash some of those limiting beliefs. So TikTok is only for dancing teenagers. Not true. The age demographic on there is rising every single day. And if you're of the older demographic, right? So like you're older than 18 and you're actually on there making educational content or inspirational content, right? And you're showing something other than a dancing trend, it makes you different, and different content will get pushed out, right? Being different is good. You don't always want to blend in with the crowd. Okay. Another thing is, if you don't ever want to do a trend, if you don't want to lip sync, dance, or point, fine. You don't have to. Yeah. You don't have to. I follow so many awesome accounts on TikTok where they have not done one trend. They have not done one trend. They get on there, drop their value bombs, and be on with their merry way. They do not do any trends. You totally can. I do. I think that they're fun. I think that they're very funny sometimes. Yeah. And if you can incorporate them into your business, I think that they can get you some good reach. Sometimes they can, get people to your page originally. Yeah. But if that doesn't feel aligned with you, you don't have to do trends. So you can just squash those limiting beliefs.
I hope so. I hope that, because you just squashed some for me. Yeah, definitely. So I know that one of the things that you talk a lot about, and like I said, what we said in the beginning, which is what I saw about you, which is authenticity, right? And I feel that a lot of us talk about that, even me, myself. But no one really tells us, like, what does that really mean? So how does one show up on TikTok authentically?
Yes. Okay. Let's get into it. Y'all, sometimes I get onto TikTok with my bun without putting on any makeup and still in my pajamas. And sometimes those are my videos that do the best, because I'm going to give you the same value in my bun and pajamas as I'm going to give you in my contour and highlight. Right? But the thing is, we're very primed for like the Instagram life.
Yeah.
Right. Definitely. Where like, if you want to get on Instagram, it needs to be curated and thought out, and you usually need to look put together, but that's not the way it is on TikTok. And I'm going to give you something to relate it to if you are somebody that is very used to Instagram. Think of TikTok as an Instagram story, if that helps you, right? Because Instagram stories, right? That's where you get on, do your little behind the scenes. Sometimes you're not as prepped and primed, right? So think of it as an Instagram story at first, if that kind of helps with the mindset shift. You do not need to get on there and be all fancy. And on TikTok, the less curated content does the best, because people want to see an authentic human being. That's what they relate to the most, the human being. That's like, oh yeah, that's me. That's how I look right now. I'm in my bun and pajamas. Or like, yes, I relate to that humor. Like, that is my humor. Yeah. Right. So you do not need to be this perfectly curated person that you maybe once were or are on Instagram.
Mm-hmm. That makes a lot of sense. I know one of the things that, just to add to that, one of the things that I always say to people is, when you're feeling it, since I'm like really all about messaging and using that to really attract people you're aligned to serve, it's like when you feel it, just share it. Like, don't think about, because that's when you're in the moment. And I think that you're saying the same thing, but just about more of maybe the look or being the curated of what you're saying. But for me, it's just like being a feeling, right? Being the emotion. If there's something, like I know the other day I was driving and I was listening to a podcast, and I heard that it was a really good podcast. And I heard the guy say something, but it was something that I kind of like didn't believe in, you know what I mean? And I just went on my stories just to, follow up on that. I went on my stories and I was like, guys, I just heard this podcast, and, and that is basically what Sarah is saying, guys. Like, don't, like, just be you, there's so many people that's showing up perfect. And so if you really want to stand out, show up as you, right? Because if you're going to be curated, then there's no difference between you and the other person, So I really love that. Okay, so what are some mistakes that you see people making on TikTok besides not showing up authentically?
Ooh, good question. So these are like when you hear them, you're going to be like, yeah, that seems really obvious. But when you go to record and post your own videos, it's not as glaring. So this is a little tea. Some of the biggest mistakes that I see, right? When people are like, can you look at my account? Like, I'm stuck. I don't know like what I'm doing wrong. Your lighting. Guys, if your lighting is not good, there are a billion users on TikTok. If your lighting is not good, it doesn't matter if your video is amazing, they're not going to push it out because there's just so much content on TikTok. I'm not telling you to buy a $1 million setup. Get in front of a window with natural lighting. Get in front of a lamp, a $25 ring light from Amazon. Get in front of some kind of lighting. Another thing I see is that people are not using a hook and a call to action. And I'm going to tell you what that means because that could be a little jargony. We're going to break down the jargon. So a hook is a captivating statement that you say at the beginning of your video to keep people watching. Y'all, TikTok is all about the watch time. So you want to keep people watching. So some examples of that could be like, I'm about to drop my biggest business secret, or I'm about to drop a tool that saves me 3 hours in my day, right? So you're giving them a little bit of a teaser of what you're about to go into, but you're not dropping the knowledge yet. Okay. And I have a freebie for you guys of 20 hooks that you could use for your videos.
Okay. Awesome.
Let's get into call to action. When people are like, well, why aren't people aren't following or commenting? My videos seem good. Well, are you asking or telling them what to do next? Sometimes people get so stuck in the scroll on TikTok. Like, think about what you do on TikTok. For me, sometimes I just lay in bed and I'm like mindlessly scrolling. Mm-hmm. So you need to sometimes explicitly ask for it or show them on the screen, right? Something that's going to disrupt the scroll. So you need to say like, I'm going to tell you my biggest business secret before I start. Make sure to follow for more tips from a social media strategist, right? That's good. I just disrupted right? I disrupted the scroll and I'm telling you, make sure to do this before I continue. Or at the end of the video say, oh, make sure to comment your favorite business tool below, right? So you're telling them explicitly what to do before they leave the video. Sometimes people just need that, that explicit action because when they go on social media, they're in that mindless state.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Another thing about that is that given that direction also positions you. So that's something that I always say is like, you're in a saturated market. Okay. Everybody, let's just look in the mirror, accept it. That's it. Okay. And so that means that you need to position yourself where people are seeing you as the leader, as the person who influences their day-to-day decisions. Okay. Yes. So if you tell someone like what Sarah said, hey, I'm about to tell you my biggest secret, go ahead and follow me. If that's what you need to say, then you say that because every time you say it, you're influencing their decision to whether keep scrolling or to stop and follow you. And every time they stop and follow you, you are raising your authority clout with them. So now the next time you say, download my freebie or book an appointment, they're listening. Why? Because they're starting to see you as their leader, the person they're learning from in whatever industry you're in. So I love that tip right there. Okay. So I have another one for you. Sarah, I told you she was going to be bringing the juice. Okay. So this one might be a little controversial and we might have different perspectives, which I'm hoping we do.
I'm excited.
Right? Okay, so I have been hearing a lot of people on TikTok talking about how TikTok is the place to generate leads, but it's not the place to grow a community. All right, that's what I've been hearing. And I know that you believe it is a place to grow a community. So let's talk about that. Why do you think that TikTok is the place to start growing your community?
So yes and no. Yes and no. I heard I wish I could remember who said this, but I heard an amazing statement on TikTok from a creator saying that TikTok is like casting a wide net, and then only some of those people will stay in your net, right? And then go to the next place. So I think with TikTok, at least right now, they make it a little bit hard to nurture a community, because if you don't know, like with their direct messaging feature, you can only direct message someone if you're mutually following each other, right? There's not a place for, multiple people to comment back and forth in a community unless you're doing it on a video. So I still kind of nurture my community in my Instagram stories.
Okay, got it.
Yes, in my Instagram stories. Like, I don't have a private Facebook group or anything that I lead them to. Like, if somebody, vibes with me, they will likely go to my Instagram, and I'll nurture them more in my Instagram stories.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's a little bit hard to like consistently nurture them on TikTok, but I think it's an amazing way to generate leads.
Totally agree. Because that's what I found too. So I guess we don't have different perspectives, because because that's what I thought too. I'm like, this is a great place. Like, all right, so when we're growing a business, it's really 3 things you're doing. Y'all know I always talk about captivate, cultivate, convert. So get someone's attention, nurture them, and then convert them into becoming a lead. And I feel like if TikTok is the captivate part, it's like, that's where you get people's attention, but you want to turn them into leads, right? Because remember, guys, if you have no business, if you have no bodies, remember, you have no business if you have no bodies. And so you really, and another thing that I always say, I feel like I'm just dropping mic drops today, but your social media followers, they ain't loyal. They ain't loyal, okay? And this is another thing that I always say, because think about it. Like what Sarah said, we're following so many people. We're on these platforms and we're scrolling, which means that there are different messaging experts, different short form video content experts that we are following. You understand? It's not just Sarah, it's not just me. So it's our job to wean the people out who vibe with us, the way we teach, all of our things, and bring them onto our list. But most people aren't doing
yes, that. That's another thing. My email list, not just the Instagram DMs. I'm like thinking about that as you're talking. I'm like, and the email list.
Exactly, because it's like you cannot grow a business. Social media is not your community. It's not. It's your followers. Like, that's it. People like Beyonce. And we follow and we listen to the music and we all of that. But there's only some of us that's Beehive members, right? Just think about that. Some of us have to take that extra step, so, and that's how it is for your clients. Another thing, Sarah, is, and I don't know if you've experienced this in the last 2 years, but the times when Instagram stops working.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so
that's when you need that list.
Yeah, so let's talk about that really quick. I know I can't keep her forever, guys. We want to, but we can't. Okay, but let's talk about that really quick. How do we start generating leads on TikTok?
Yeah, so that is an amazing question. So I'll just tell you how I do it. I'll tell you how I do it. So I have a freebie that I give, which is the hooks for your videos, right? So it aligns exactly to what I do. It aligns to exactly to why people follow me, and it's going to explicitly help them, right? And in turn, for the freebie, I get their email. So that is usually an amazing way to get leads. If you say, here, I'm going to give you something that's actually of value, y'all, please give a good freebie. Do not give a PDF that I can find on Google Images.
Or a newsletter.
Yes. Yes, please give like a good freebie or a training, even if you get on like a Zoom and do a 15-minute training. Oh, amazing. I'll get that. Yeah. Give a good freebie in exchange for their email. And I'm telling you, that is worth everything, right? And then you just talk about it in some of your videos here and there. And that is the most organic way to get those leads. And I'm telling you, on TikTok, like, it happens very, very organically because of the nature of the videos. People feel like they know you, that you're your pals, your friends. And so they want to get your stuff, especially if it's free.
All right. So that was great. Okay. So I really, really hope, that you guys will listen to these tips, because Sarah actually went deeper. Some of these things you got to buy a course for nowadays. Okay. So definitely, listen to this again. If you have to, write down those tips, make sure that you follow Sarah. I'm going to have all the information below so you can follow her. And guys, if you are new to my community and you're watching us on YouTube right now, do not forget to subscribe and turn on your notifications. We're going to be having these interviews popping out like clockwork, just to bring valuable information to you. So Sarah, thank you so much for being with me today. Do you have any last minute hot like fire tips that you want to leave with the people?
Yeah, absolutely. I think just jump in and do it without thinking too much, and you will truly, truly be so surprised at the results.
There you have it. All right. So thank you so much, Sarah, for being with me. Thank you, guys. And I'll see you on the next one.